Hey, this topic is it's kind of geared towards Alex. There's a topic in Alex called Quotient Rule with Negative Exponents, Problem Type 2. There's a video that might help before this one. It's just called Quotient Rule with Negative Exponents, and it does just like one variable ones. The ones that we're looking here with the Problem Type 2 notation on it means that you're going to have more than one letter, more than one variable. So negative exponents can be their own kind of can of worms. So we're just going to tackle these together. I tend to do things in the same steps, problem after problem. It just keeps me kind of quote unquote honest. It keeps me doing baby steps, and being consistent in the way that we do things usually means that there's more chance that we're going to get something right. So just think of that and keep that in mind. So for a problem like this, there's a couple things that I do. So we have A's, B's, and C's plus a bunch of numbers. Sometimes the numbers get handled differently than the letters. So I am going to just take those off to the side and deal with that in just a minute. I'm going to put that line just so that I just keep it separate for a minute. For all of this part, the letters here, what I'm going to do is anything that has a negative exponent has to go to the other part of the fraction. So when I look at this problem, the a to the fifth, that doesn't have a negative exponent. That's going to stay on the top of the fraction. The b to the fourth, also positive exponent, stays upstairs. However, that c to the negative 8, we have to make that a positive 8, and we do that by shoving it down in the basement to the other part of the fraction. So that had to come down here. This a to the negative 1 in the bottom has a negative exponent. It has to come upstairs, and it turns into a positive 1 now. This b to the negative 2 on the bottom, because it has a negative 2 of an exponent, also has to come upstairs. All right, so my first step was separating out the numbers from the letters, and then anything with a negative exponent got moved to the other part of the fraction. Now I'm going to clean up. When I look at this, it's just asking me to reduce. So off to the side here, I'm just going to remind you how to do that. I know that 5 goes into 5 and that 5 goes into 30. So I'm reducing each of those numbers by 5. 5 divided by 5 on the top is 1. 30 divided by 5 on the bottom gives me 6. So when I go to rewrite, I'm going to have a 1 on the top and my 6 on the bottom. Now I'm ready to tackle my letters. I'm going to rewrite these. I'm going to put my A's next to each other and my B's next to each other. So I have an a to the fifth. Oh, and the reason why I can do that is because this is all multiplication all the way across. And if I write 3 times 4, I'm going to get the same answer as if I do 4 times 3. They're both going to be 12. It doesn't matter the order that I do them in. So that's why I am allowed to rewrite the order of things on the top of this fraction. If I want to put my b's next to each other, I have a b to the fourth and a b squared. And then the last part of my problem, I'm not doing anything with that c to the 8. It's just going to carry through this entire process because there are no other c's. Okay, so I'm rewriting. The 1 and the 6 we're done with. We're just going to keep copying them. The c to the 8 I'm done with. We're just going to make sure we don't forget it. So when we look at our a's, we have 1 a joining 5 a's. So altogether, we're going to have 6 a's. For the b's, we have 4 b's joining 2 b's. So I'm also going to have 6 b's altogether. I know that I'm done with this problem because my 1 and 6 is completely reduced. I only have a's in the top. I only have b's in the top, and I only have c's in the bottom. If I still had a's in the top and bottom, I would need to fix that. But I'm all done because my a's are only in the top and not in the bottom as well. So that's how come I know I'm done. All right, let's try another one. Let's see how this feels. I'm going to leave off the numbers this time. Any numbers that you see are strictly going to be exponents. So a to the negative 4, b to the negative 1, c to the 9. And then we're going to do a to the third, b to the fifth, c to the negative 8. All right, so we don't have any coefficients or numbers to reduce out. We're all just letters. First step, anything that has a negative exponent, bring it to the other part of the fraction and make the exponent positive. So my first term, a to the negative 4, that has to come downstairs. All right, I'm done with that. B to the negative 1, that has to go downstairs. I'm done with that. C to the 9 stays right where it is. Now I'm looking at the things on the bottom. A to the third stays where it is, not negative exponent. There's no negative exponent, so it doesn't move. B to the fifth does not have a negative exponent. That also stays on the bottom, doesn't get moved. This last thing, c to the negative 8, must come upstairs, and it now becomes a positive exponent. All right, so we're ready for our next step. For the tops, I have 9 C's joining 8 C's. So altogether, I will have 17. On the bottom, I'm just going to take a little bit of baby steps here. You don't have to do this. You might be ahead of me already, but I'm going to move the A's next to each other because sometimes it's the visualness of doing that kind of helps us be right again. All right, so C to the 17 stays on the top. On the bottom, I have 4 A's joining 3 A's. All together, there are 7 A's. On the bottom, I also have 1 B joining 5 B's. So that gives me 6 B's altogether. All right. Again, at this step, I knew I wasn't done because I have 2 A's sitting next to each other like that with a time sign. That's illegal to leave. And I have 2 B's sitting next to each other that are ready to be multiplied. So they needed to be combined as well. Because this was all multiplication, that's why I had to combine those exponents. Again, tackle all these problems the same way. Move the things with the negative exponents and then simplify by figuring out what it should be. All right, I hope this helped.